So this is a debate which has happened in other contexts, in other circumstances, but this time around it is happening over national security and about the ambit of the Border Security Force or the BSF. You see, what has happened is that the BSF has been given more powers, greater powers from what they already had to carry out search and seizure in a greater area. So in Punjab, it has been increased from 15 kilometers from the international border to 50 kilometers. The same thing has happened in Bengal also. So what has happened, apart from this war in Punjab, political war in Punjab, if you look at the whole story, the big picture, and not just Punjab state, you will see that a classic federalism versus nationalism debate has come to the fore all over again, this time over BSF. Who is right and who is not? Is this a case where the centre is trying to impose itself over the powers of the state government, thus attacking federalism? Or is this a case where the state is being too emotional and too touchy about its powers and jurisdiction that it would not even understand or value an argument in favour of national security? What is right? That debate is going to begin in just a short moment from now. Let's quickly take a look at this presentation.
The Akali Dal, Punjab's opposition party, hits the streets against the centre's new rules, giving the BSF greater footprint in Punjab.
flying idiot देख लो. So आधे पंजाब में अगर सेंटर का रूल रहेगा लॉ एंड ऑर्डर का, पुलिस का सारा कुछ होगा, तो फिर ये क्या हो रहा है?
The order has triggered a fresh headache for Punjab's new chief minister. Though Mr. Channi has opposed the move, saying it is a backdoor way of extending the centre's powers inside Punjab, the former chief minister Amrinder Singh defended the move, saying it will help fight the drug menace. Another Congress leader, Sunil Jakhar, referred to Mr. Channi's meeting with the Home Minister recently, where the Punjab Chief Minister had asked for greater border controls to fight the drug menace. Mr. Jakhar suggesting that Mr. Channi may have given away control of nearly half of Punjab's land area. Mr. Channi, who had gone to meet Amrinder Singh to seek blessings for his son and daughter-in-law, refused to speak to the media. But ministers in the Punjab government said Mr. Channi never asked for enhanced jurisdiction to the BSF.
ਇਹ ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟ ਫੈਡਰਲ ਸਟਰਕਚਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਦਖਲਅੰਦਾਜ਼ੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਦੀ ਵੀ ਬਰਦਾਸ਼ਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀ. ਪ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੇ ਹੋਮ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੂੰ ਕਹੂੰਗਾ ਕਿ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਰੀਕਨਸੀਡਰ ਕਰਨ.
Others have also called out the stand taken by Amrinder Singh, saying 5 years ago he had accused BSF of drug trafficking.
ਇੱਥੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਨੈਕਸਸ ਹੈ ਸਾਡੇ ਬਾਰਡਰਾਂ ਤੇ BSF ਦੀ ਔਰ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਰੇਂਜਰਸ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪਾਕਿਸਤਾਨ ਰੇਂਜਰਸ ਨੇ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਤੋੜਨ ਲਈ.
Under the new rules, BSF's jurisdiction increases from 15 kilometers to 50 kilometers inside the international border along Punjab, which many say will give the BSF powers to make arrests and carry out raids deep inside mainland Punjab. But BSF officials said they will only have limited powers.
One is the CRPC, the other is the Passport, Entry into India Act, the third is the Passport Act. Only with respect to these three acts, the territorial jurisdiction of BSF has been increased.
Punjab has seen drug smuggling and arms smuggling even through drones over the years, and many BSF personnel have also been booked and arrested by Punjab police and other agencies for involving or their indulgence in drug trafficking. So the bigger question remains that will enhancing BSF's jurisdiction in Punjab really able to check drug and arms supply? In Chandigarh, Mohammad Ghazali for NDTV.
Drug and arms supply in Punjab is one thing, and then there is of course the whole West Bengal angle. Is this a case of federalism under attack, or is this a case of states not wanting to let go of their power simply because it's convenient for them, and as mandated by the law also, because it's a part of a federal structure, but so much so that they will not look at the national security angle. Let me now introduce Ravinder Singh Robin. He's a journalist, very noted journalist from Amritsar. So, by this new logic, Mr. Robin, your city is now going to fall into the ambit of the BSF, because from the border, if you go straight 50 kilometers as the crow flies, then this means that Amritsar is part of it. PKD Nambiar is also with us, political analyst, leans towards the government, his arguments. Parambans Singh Romana, National President of the Youth Akali Dal and spokesperson of the SAD, is also with us. In just a short moment, we'll have two more guests joining us in a while. I want to begin with you, Mr. Robin, as the man on the ground, as someone who notices and sees how these things play out in Punjab. Do you think that this is a good step or a bad step or a political step or something else?
Sanket, thank you very much for having me on your
pleasure.
show. But let me tell you, first of all, I appreciate any effort to curb drug abuse or any bit to infiltration or to say borders by any security agencies. But specifically for this notification, we need to understand the geopolitical, we need to understand the geography of Punjab and other states. If you compare Punjab with Rajasthan and Gujarat, those states, they are having borders along with Pakistan, as India is having, as Punjab is having a 553-kilometer border with Pakistan. But you see, the villages, those who are situated in Rajasthan and Gujarat, they are far from the zero line, probably 15-20 kilometers. But if you come to the border area of Punjab, you will find villages actually at the zero line, at the barbed fence, near the barbed fence. So the infiltration and the smuggling relation with the Pakistan of those smugglers are not a new one. The smuggling bit, or smugglers have been carrying out their operations since long, even before the barbed wire was installed at the border. The smuggling was the commodity of smuggling was of gold, alcohol, cigarette, pan ka patta, etc., or electronic
Correct.
goods. But after during the this black days of Punjab, Pakistan, from Pakistan side, we've been receiving heroin, suspected to be heroin, fake currency and arms. But you see, they actually, with this notification, they have raised the stretch, which is 15 to 50 kilometers.
And that is also creates a situation where, a bigger question as far as BSF is concerned right now will be, where do you have the manpower to man 50 kilometers instead of 15 kilometers? I think that's an important point that Robin is raising. I'll come back to you. Professor Om Prakash Mishra is also with us, leader of the TMC. Professor Mishra, all through the day we've been talking about Punjab, but I guess one dimension is also West Bengal. In your state, there is a question being raised on an attack on federalism. Why do you say so? And do you think that you're being very touchy about an issue of national security? Or do you feel that
Sanket,
actually the
no
center is
reason for you
infringing
to assume
into your
that
rights?
I shall be speaking only on West Bengal and not on Punjab or
Absolutely,
for that
sir,
matter,
absolutely.
Kashmir,
Your state.
Gujarat. Right. Secondly, you see, being a former member of the National Security Advisory Board to the Prime Minister, I have some idea about how this entire thing is going to be played. There is no correlation between the BSF effectiveness and efficiency with the extension of their jurisdiction, because after all, they will be completely dependent for coordination purposes with the state police. And that is the responsibility of the state government. Now, West Bengal, for that matter, we know about Punjab, almost 50% of Punjab would fall under this, I would say, false jurisdiction. When it would be a question of, the Passport Act, one can understand. But then, when you actually say the CRPC also, that basically means that you are attempting to rewrite the constitutional scheme. This is not fair at all. Then you should have consulted the state. That has not been done. In West Bengal, we have one of the highest density of population. And so many districts. And
so you're saying that West Bengal was not consulted, because in the case of Punjab, there is also this theory that the Chief Minister actually met the Home Minister.
This is a very one-sided, and I would say
one-sided decision.
Irrational.
One-sided and irrational is the opinion of the TMC. PKD Nambiar, before I come to you, you see, and Shant Prakash Jatav is also with us, leader of the BJP. Mr. Nambiar, there is a question that we asked on the Coup app, And Arvind says, is this a well-planned attack on federalism? That's one of the questions on the Coup app which has been asked by one of our viewers for you. Would you like to answer this? Do you think this is an attack on federalism?
Sanket, where is the question of national security in between the national security or the threat from across the borders are tampering the federal structure of our country or the states going to lose the power? I don't think so. I think we should every political party in such kind of cases should come together for a common cause, that there are challenges from across the border we are facing, whether it is from the point of view of a terrorism or from the point of view of a drug menace and many other kind of a crisis, which we all hear every day through the news channels, and various reports comes out every day. But when a government of India takes a decision to secure our borders for the safety of our people, where is the question of politicizing such kind of a decision from the point of view of a federal structure is going to, we are breaking our federal structure? I think
let me ask this to Mr. Romana. Mr. Romana, Mr. Nambiar says, where is the, keep national security as paramount. For every political party, that must be like something which you should not compromise with.
Absolutely, not every political party, but no Indian citizen would compromise on national security. But this is not an issue of national security. This issue has nothing to do with the capabilities of the BSF or the incapabilities of Punjab Police. Punjab Police has also fought and brought normalcy to the state of Punjab. BSF and the other armed forces are doing their job on the border. But here the politics comes in. It is a direct attack on the federal structure of India. See, the difference is, like my friend from the TMC said, that their state was not consulted. But here, the Congress party is in fact supporting the move. The Amritsar MP Gurjeet Aujla supports it. Captain Amrinder Singh has supported it. And Mr. Channi is on record having said that I've requested the Home Minister to do something on the border. And the messaging should not be lost. On the day that Captain Amrinder Singh supports this move, Mr. Channi goes and calls on him. The Home Minister of Punjab, when he was the jails minister, hands over the jails to the BSF. Now as Home Minister, he's handing over the territory to the BSF.
No, but then you are looking at it only from the perspective of Punjab. But this is a decision which has been taken across India's borders.
Give me 1 second. See, this is a very emotional issue here. My friend Robin very rightly was pointing out the political geography of the border.
We don't require the army or BSF on the borders of the Punjab.
One moment, Mr. Nambiar, one moment.
Are we a country or are we only just the Punjab is a country in this, within the country? No. I think there is no specific rule is...
Okay, wait, one moment, I have to come in here. I have very limited time. Mr. Shant Prakash Jatov of the BJP, मैं आपके पास आना चाहता हूँ. आप मुझे, I'll come back to you, Mr. Romana. I'll come back to you. Let me take opening comments from everyone. Mr. Jatov, is this an attack on federal structure or not? There's another question by Rajiv Sani on the Coup app. He says country's security is of utmost importance and there cannot be any compromise on that. States, especially ruled by the opposition parties, should not create federalism. देखिए, एक तरफ तो बीजेपी शासित असम है, उसको कोई दिक्कत नहीं हुई. लेकिन पश्चिम बंगाल और पंजाब जहां पर सरकार नहीं है बीजेपी की, वहां ये सवाल उठाए जा रहे हैं. बहरहाल ये सवाल जरूरी नहीं है. और आपको नहीं लगता है कि बात करना जरूरी है इन राज्य के मुखियाओं से?
इस सब चीजों को समझने की भी आवश्यकता है कि ये लोग विरोध किस लिए कर रहे हैं. इनफैक्ट क्या है कि बॉर्डर पर जिस तरीके से तस्करी हो रही है पिछले काफी समय से, वो सभी स्टेट
नहीं, तस्करी के आरोप तो बीएसएफ पर भी लगे हैं.
डेफिनेटली ठीक है, जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन काम करती है कुछ भी लग सकता है, मगर वो उसकी जो सीमा जो 15 किलोमीटर की होने के कारण जो तस्कर है वो तुरंत उसको पार कर जाता था और उसका अल्टीमेट बेनिफिट जो है उस तस्कर को मिलता था. और जब यदि 16 किलोमीटर पे भी वो पकड़ा जाता था तो वहां का लोकल जो पॉलिटिशियंस हैं वो उसको छुड़ा लेते थे. और वो इस
नहीं, but Jatov ji, without, see, that's the point that is being made by a lot of people here. Without the support of the local police, how will you hope to achieve anything even now?
संकेत, can I just come in for a
नहीं, जाटव जी से सवाल है.
इसमें आप इस चीज को इस तरीके से समझें कि जो लोकल पॉलिटिशियन है वो उसको पुष्ट कर रहे थे, अब उनको परेशानी हो रही है, जो दलाली वो लोग करते थे उन लोगों को परेशानी हो रही है। अरे 80 किलोमीटर का दायरा गुजरात में रहा है, तो
okay, I think this is an important point being made by Mr. Jatav. Mr. Romana, Mr. Romana as well as Professor Mishra.
तस्करी पर रोक लगेगी।
Shant Prakash Jatav is saying गुजरात में तो 80 kilometers था, not even 50, 80 kilometers. Romana, Mr. Romana, what will you say?
Mr. Jatav, when he is saying कि local लोग छुड़ा लेते हैं, तस्करी में मदद करते हैं, maybe he has a different experience in his own party. Here the situation,
ये तो ओपन है, ये देखिए, ये इसको आप समझ लें कि आप,
मैंने आपको इंटरप्ट नहीं किया, एक मिनट मेरी बात सुने। आप पंजाब देखो, somebody here was saying is Punjab the country? Punjab is not the country, but Punjab is a part of this country, and you will have to take the sentiments of Punjab into consideration.
That is the reason your chief minister, your own former chief minister, Amarinder Singh, went on to record and said that it is going to help. Why the Congress government in the last 5 years have not been able to control the drug menace on the border? Why don't you answer that?
One by one, please. One comment from Professor Mishra and then Ravinder Singh Robin. Professor Mishra, what do you make of this point that the BJP is saying, please, nothing above national security? In Gujarat, it was 80 kilometers, it has been made to 50.
Unfortunately, I do not accept that point of view. In fact, we would all like to uphold national security. In fact, in order and in deference to national security requirements, we need strong state, we need strong union government. But the BSF getting extended jurisdiction does not serve that purpose at all.
Okay.
It does not add to its operational...
okay, I think the larger, Ravinder Singh Robin, you know, as a person on the ground who has been seeing and observing these individuals, how they work very closely, I want to ask you, do you think that the BSF's immediate challenge and requirement will be more resources? I mean, suddenly from 15 kilometers to 50 kilometers will require resources.
That is true. That is true. Even... you know, the government of India, they made a, let me give you one more example. The government of India have been giving funds for the border area, development for the border area, that calls under border area development program. The government of India have been giving lots of fund for all the 3 or other states. But the politician never says that they have encroaching or why they are interfering in the state government, state affairs. The government, if government of India is giving them fund for the border area, border patti, and if they are securing that border patti,
so you're saying that, you know, don't take the funds.
There shouldn't be, but there shouldn't be 2 points. Secondly, you know, the border security force have also been manning the gates at the zero line, and the border farmers, those who are having land beyond fencing, and the only Punjab state having the land beyond fencing, which is cultivated by the farmers. But the border area, BSF, they don't have much force even to guard those farmers to cultivate their land beyond fencing. So BSF maybe they may need more force, but to me, at the ground, I feel the more
comment from me.
They need more confidence building measures between the police and the BSF instead of giving more.
Okay, I've completely run out of time, but I guess I get the point that you are trying to make. Thank you very much. We'll debate this further because I'm sure both West Bengal as well as Punjab are going to talk about this.